Check, check. Hello again, everybody. Welcome to the Backbone Podcast, where common sense still makes sense in a world that is sick and only getting sicker. And today we have two stories that are very sad. They happened in different parts of the country, but they are related all the same. And they're integrated by the fact of the fall and the cowardice of white men in this country. It really in any Western world, any country of the Western world. This story, the two stories that are just circling the social media waves today are the story of the super Karen who bullied a man in front of his children. I have the video here for you. I'm going to tell you a little story that happened to me on Thursday. I was at the gym. It was back day, so I was back day's my favorite. Buys and tries to, but I was finishing doing pull-ups. I had one more to do before I would go on the stepper to do a little cardio, and my earbud fell out. And when I finished my second set, I went to go retrieve it. So as I'm retrieving it, this woman who had to be in her late 50s, early 60s comes from behind me and starts using the same pull-up rack that I use. Now I know a lot of people they say you should really do pull-ups to open your workout because it gets your back all nice and loose. I like to do it. I like to torture myself. And I had a great pump going, blood was flowing, the testosterone was exploding. I felt great. So this woman is using the pull-up rack, but she's not doing pull-ups, she's just stretching. And she's like moving her legs up and down, whatever. When she finished, I said, "Excuse me, I just have one more, and then you can use it." And she just sucked her teeth and said, "Really?" So as I said, I had a nice pump going, testosterone and blood are flowing. I turn around to her and I got right in her face. Now maybe I shouldn't have gotten in her face, but fuck her. I got right in her face and I said, "Yeah, really." And she looked at me like she was about to shit her pants because no one has ever done that to her. No one has put her in her place. No one was there to protect her. Now, I wasn't going to obviously hit her. I have much too much to do with my life than to, go to jail over some Karen whore who's never, been told no before. But for that split second, she thought she was in trouble. She didn't have a response for me, and she just looked at me, frozen. And then I turned around and I did my workout, and that was it. I saw her go to a cycling machine where her husband or whoever was there, and you could tell he wasn't a big guy or an intimidating guy, but he just kind of looked at me and he's just nodding his head as she's like, yelling at him about me. And he's the symbol. He's a symbol of what we're going to look at now, what happened at the Phillies-Marlin game. I think it was last night. And the tragedy that happened in Charlotte, North Carolina a couple of weeks ago. Now, if you don't know the story, this is a Florida Marlin Phillies game. One of the Phillies hits a home run. Ball goes into the stands. Father runs after the ball, gets it, picks it up, brings it, puts it into his son's glove. Well, this Karen, shouldn't have done that because the stadium belongs to her and that ball belongs to her. And she bullied this guy. He's not even a guy. He's a little wuss. He's a freaking pussy. She bullied him in front of his family, in front of his children, in front of his son, and got the ball back. Now, if you just look at the haircut on this woman, you could tell that she's been She's so fucking entitled. It's amazing. And something like this, some people would say, you know what, dude, just give her the ball so she goes away. No, you can't do this. Is what happens when you just say, hey, just let it go. It's a $2 ball. Who cares? Who gives a shit? If you don't apply your principles and stand up for yourself and have a fucking backbone, you're finished. You are the rabbit in the jungle. You are harmless. And that's what white men are today. They're rabbits. They're harmless. They're cute in a funny way. And this is the reason why they're abused in the street by blacks. And this is why they're yelled at and screamed at and ridiculed and mocked on television. This is why you can have a black social media guy go on whiteface and mock how fat, absurd Southern guys look, and people think it's funny. White people think it's funny. Can you imagine if a white comedian did that and went in blackface and mocked black people? Because let me tell you something, I can go on stage for 2 hours and make fun of black people, but we're going to do that story tomorrow. And I keep wanting to do my review segment. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do that yesterday because the football season started, high school football season started. So when I got home from school, I go to the gym. By the time I come home, it's 5 o'clock. Then I walk Reese, and it was her birthday yesterday. Happy birthday, Reese. 11 years with my golden girl. I barely make it on time for the game, so I wasn't able to do a podcast yesterday. I'll have to figure out a way to do that. But I had to do this story. We're going to look at it right now, and we're going to look at some other footage that you might not have seen that shows her arguing. Her entitlement is beyond reproach. But here is the incident for your viewing pleasure. Look at look at the fear on his face. Look at the way she grabbed him. That can almost, I don't want to be a bitch when I say this, but that could be assault. And you know what? Not to get the police involved, but he could defend himself there. She attacked him. She grabbed him. And I would say, if that were me, I'm protecting my son. Don't you dare touch me or him. I would have put an elbow right in her chest. But he's terrified already. Look at that haircut. Look at that haircut on that broad. But look how terrified he is. His hands are in a defensive position, right? Don't hit me, please. And she's in his face. And the reason why she's in his face is because she knows that he won't do anything. That he's too afraid of getting arrested, losing his job, losing his materialistic stuff, his car, his house. He's afraid. He's got a lot to lose. And she has nothing to lose because she's a liberal woman. The minute the cops come, she'll start crying. She'll say he abused her, that he intimidated her. He stole the ball from me. What was I supposed to do? And the law will take her side because the law is feminized. Yeah. And there's the coward move. There's the power walk. I won.
Those cheers. That's all the fans are very excited because the Marlins, what we caught on our, television screens on our cameras, guys, was a kid his home run ball being taken away from him. So the Marlins wanted to make sure that he had a little prize pack and some baseballs to make up for the incident that we caught a little bit earlier on our game. So you see the young man's very excited. He's got a baseball there for both himself and his sister as well.
And now the backstory on that is that a woman who works for the Marlins saw this, thought it was wrong, or what she wanted to do was she's probably protecting the team and the stadium because maybe she thought it would look bad on them, and she sent the kid a pack of goodies with a sign ball, and she got to get a baseball player to meet the boy. But the story is that a woman to bully this guy's father, emasculate him in front of the whole country. And it took another woman to save that boy from the situation. So you have two women fighting, and I want to show you this part right here. Where is it? There was one. Look at the father sitting down. Let me tell you something. When you sit down, the woman is hovering over him, the boy is standing, and the father is in a cuck position, sitting there helpless like a little rabbit. He is a bitch. How is this boy supposed to go home and see his father as the leader of his house from now on? How is this boy supposed to look and respect his dad again? You can't. You can't. Because that man is not a man. He's a little pussy. And the whole country knows it. How is that guy going to work on Monday and not feel shame? He let some bitch with a bad haircut humiliate him in front of his family, in front of his son, the most important person in his world, his son, who he's going to extend his legacy, extend his name. And the boy, the person we have to pray for is that boy. So he doesn't grow up to be like his father. And that's a horrible thing to say. But you can't have another bitch growing up in this world. We're at the point now where we cannot have these young boys growing up to be terrified of women. His father failed him, and his grandfather probably failed him. Because people like Matt Walsh are going on X now saying, "Oh, see, the boy won. A big W for the boy." No. Why? Because he got a fucking baseball, and some baseball player who doesn't even know won't remember his name tomorrow signed a baseball bat for him. That's why he won? Fuck that. He lost his father. He just saw why the whole world is going to shit, because white men are bitches now. White men are cowards. And this is why women and gays and blacks, they attack, because they know, especially black women, they know that if they go and confront a white person, especially specifically a white Christian heterosexual male, those guys will cower and bow their heads to them. When the fuck are we going to wake up from this? That guy's probably my age. He's probably a Gen Xer. And he just showed you why Paris, London, Madrid, all these Western countries, all these Western cities are flooded with these vermin from the Middle East and India and sub-Saharan Africans, and they do whatever the fuck they want because they know that white men are powerless to do anything about it. Powerless. Any Stoic would tell you that if you don't stand up for you and your family, especially in front of your family, you've lost them forever. How is his wife going to fuck him after this? What was that drive home like? What happens now when his son maybe doesn't do well in school or misbehaves? How is he supposed to discipline him? Where's the authority there? This is a disaster for the family household. Now I want to show you this video here. This is the video of what we can hear what she's saying. Look at those. Anything that comes at you with eyeglasses like that, look at the seething look on her face. And you know, the girls in this video, the girls that are recording it, and there's a woman in the background there, they're the only ones who yell back at this woman. which shows the empowerment that women feel that they have. Because they're the only ones that scream at her. There's no man that screams at her here. Because they don't want to be confronted by these people. Jesus Christ, I wish I was there. I really, really wish I was there. I have a very mean face. So, and I tend to, I control myself, but I get to the point where I'm getting in your face and I'm going to tell you what's what. I'm going to do what your father and your husband won't do. I'm going to show you what it's like to be a woman. You're going to sit and you're going to shut the fuck up. Her husband won't do that. And now she's the most hated woman in America for a little while. But she just proved a point that I've been trying to make to all of you since I started this podcast back in March. The cowardice of white men is the destruction of this world. All right, rant over. Let's see what she has to say. That was mean. You took it from me. You took it from me. What a this is the face of entitlement. When you don't put women in line, when you don't put minorities in line, when you don't put them to heel, they're just like children. You give them an inch, they'll take a yard, then it's a mile, then it's a fucking whole city. And this guy is a bitch. He's a fruitcake. He's not even a man anymore. He's not a man. There's no way. First of all, look at how she invades his space. Look how he's leaning back. The body language tells you everything. And guess what? You know what? He's explaining to her. I wouldn't explain shit to her. It's mine now. What are you going to do about it? What the fuck are you going to do about it? Go get your husband too. I want to see what he's going to do about it. This boy cannot in no way grow up to be like his dad because he doesn't respect him anymore. There's no way that he can look at this video and his friends are going to see this. This kid's going to get tortured now about this forever because people are going to know your father's a fag. He's a fruit. I can bully you now because I know your father won't do anything about it. Girls, forget it. This kid, anytime this guy's going to hit on a girl, they're going to know that he comes from a family of fruit, a family of cucks. So he's going to be taken advantage of. He's going to be, I can almost guarantee this kid's going to get bullied now because no one's going to respect him because he doesn't have a lion in the house. And only lions can raise other lions. He has a rabbit in the house. And that's how people are going to see this poor boy now as a fucking rabbit. Now, the next story I wanted to get to is very, very sad. And this story, it just goes to show that we can't live together. This is the story of, let me get her name here. Oh, geez, I forgot her name. Bear with me for one moment. Her name is Irina Zurutska, probably some beautiful Russian girl or Ukrainian. She is riding the train in Charlotte, North Carolina. And of course, her crime, the greatest mistake of her life, was the fact that she doesn't see color. And she paid the price for it. Now her family has to bury her. This beautiful blonde woman, this beautiful white woman, who again probably is innocent from anything and everything that's going on in this country. She probably doesn't even realize it. She'll probably tell you, if she was alive, maybe she would have told you a week ago, oh, I don't see color. I think people are people. That's your death warrant that you're signing. That is the fastest, easiest way to get a knife in your neck. And that's exactly what happened to this poor woman here. She was minding her own business. She's on her phone. And let me tell you something. These phones will get you killed because you're distracted on a train, on a bus. If you're on a city street and you're on your phone, you're just begging. You're just begging to die. And this is what happened to this woman here. Let's look at the video. Of course, they don't show the actual stabbing, thank goodness, but we see her getting on the train, and there it is. Look at the blood dripping all over. The white man. It's terrifying. That guy owns the street. Now this vermin here, his name is DeCarlos Brown. Look at how many times he has been arrested and booked. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 fucking times this guy has been booked for various crimes. And 14 times he was released. You tell me that this is how a society strives. You tell me that there isn't a fucking problem here. You tell me that when white men are not in power, that things don't go to chaos. Because this shit is happening every fucking day. And let me tell you, it's sickening to me that this happened 2 weeks ago and we're just hearing about it now. Because if the colors were reversed, it would be national fucking news. But it's not. Because it doesn't fit the narrative. It doesn't fit what the media, what the juicy media wants you to see. I don't know when we're going to wake up. I don't know what has to happen before we wake up. But I'll tell you this. It better start happening soon. Something's got to change. There's got to be some shift. And it's not going to be a politician. Don't think that Donald Trump is just a fat orange guy. He doesn't give a shit about you. Stop with the Trump stuff. Get off the Epstein file. You're never going to see those files. Okay, you're not going to see the list. You're not going to see the names. You're not going to see any of that shit. And you know what? It doesn't fucking matter. We know these people are sick. We know these people are pedophiles. What you don't? What? You have to see the names. We have to start protecting ourselves. And when you see people that look like that around you, you have to be on guard. As they say, if you see blacks, don't relax. Because you will get attacked. I think it's almost now a 50-50 proposition that you're going to get some form of attack or some sort of incident that's going to happen. because these people just don't give a fuck. They know nothing's going to happen to them. They're going to get arrested. Maybe they'll spend, a couple of weeks in jail, and then they get released, and they'll do it all over again. And why? It's because we're terrified of being called racist. None of us want to be labeled a racist. Well, you know what? I don't give a shit anymore. Call me whatever the fuck you want. I'm sick of. I can't believe more and more people aren't sick of this. I mean, am I the only one? Is it possible that I am the only person that can't stand these stories anymore? And the only reason why I report these stories and I focus on these stories is because I'm hoping to wake some people up. If just one or two. Because it's got to stop. We got to. If you're a person of my age, of my generation, you probably have children. You got to do it for them. Don't worry about your fucking job. Don't worry about your fucking car payment. Enough of this stuff. We're slaves to our materialism. Read the book Fight Club. That book, when I was in college and I read that, it changed my life, the way I saw things. I don't give a shit about cars anymore. I don't care about, fancy clothes. I used to, but then I read that book, and then I realized that, yeah, I care about that stuff. And when you care about that stuff, you worry about losing your job, losing your paycheck, losing your friends, losing relatives, and you're shackled to being a normie. And being a normie is accepting this. Remember, if it ends in an ism, it's a mental disorder. And white men are to blame for this. White men are 100% to blame for this, because we allowed it to happen. We allowed it to happen, and now we're paying the ultimate price. And we're not paying the ultimate price. Our children are paying the ultimate price. Shame on us for that. Shame on that fucking father. He's not a father. He's just a sperm donor. Shame on him for allowing that bitch to bully him in front of his family and snip his balls off. Shame on the people of North Carolina for voting in these weak politicians who allow vermin like this guy to walk their streets and kill innocent people on their trains. Shame on white Catholic men for allowing this to happen. Shame on us all. How we are able to look in the mirror and not be ashamed of what we see is beyond me. And there's my 2 cents. Thank you again for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share. Be careful out there, my friends, because Satan you just saw 2 of his favorite demonic demons right there. You just saw it. Be a man, God damn it. Have a fucking backbone. That guy doesn't have a backbone. That guy's not a man, and he doesn't have a backbone. He's a little jellyfish. And he's proud of it, because he had to have another woman save his son from embarrassment. Can you imagine? Can you fucking imagine that? Oh, be a man. Be better, because masculinity and common sense are worth standing up for. And just remember, if it ends in an ism, it's a mental disorder. Bring white men back into the fold. We'll see you later.